Hi, I want to discuss the topic of suicide today. I'm going to talk about my own experience with it, specifically about how I managed to overcome my suicidal intentions. I first started to have suicidal thoughts about 2 years into my first depressive episode. It happened because my psychological pain intensified, and sometimes I started feeling like it's too much to bear, and that this pain is worse than death. And unfortunately, people who never experienced depression have trouble understanding this concept. A lot of them see depression as a weakness of will, hypochondria, or seeking of attention. But the reality is that just as physical pain, psychological pain can be so intense that death starts to seem like a better option. But regardless of how I felt, I didn't do anything to treat my depression. I was still foolishly determined to overcome it with willpower. Obviously, this stupid plan didn't work out, and I ended up in a mental hospital anyway. And in that mental hospital, something happened that should not happen to anybody, ever. After the doctors found out that I'm not getting better with pills, they took it as a sign that my depression is not real. They said a lot of things that didn't make much sense to me. They saw me as a complaining hypochondriac that makes a lot of drama out of nothing. None of it was true, and it was incredibly hurtful to hear all of that. So I left the hospital without any significant improvement. They only normalized my sleep with sleeping pills, but other than that, I felt the same. My condition continued to decline. I continued to have suicidal thoughts. At some point, I started to hear and see things that were not there, and around the same time, I committed my first and only suicide attempt. And I remember this moment very clearly. I remember why I did it. Partly I did it because of the fact that the mental pain I experienced in that particular day became too much to bear. But I also did it because I couldn't stand the thought of returning to the hospital where doctors don't believe me. I just didn't see another way out in that particular moment. I'm glad that it didn't work out and I survived. Soon after that, I quit my job to focus on my mental health, and I discovered natural treatments that actually worked, and I started to feel better for the first time in years. And that was the time when my suicidality went away and never came back. I haven't had a suicidal thought for years. So I stopped wanting to end my life, not because of some great magic inside or something. I didn't have an attitude problem. I wasn't selfish or weak. I stopped wanting to die when the unbearable pain stopped. To all the people who are suicidal because of mental health problems, I want to say that even if your situation might seem hopeless right now, it's not really true. There's always hope. Mental illnesses aren't incurable, and if the doctors ran out of options, then there's natural treatments. And if that doesn't work either, then something else might come up in future. New, better treatments get discovered every year. And if someone dismisses your problems and tells you to snap out of it, don't take it personally. It's about them being ignorant. It's not about you. And there is one more thing that I want to mention here. During the time when I was severely depressed and suicidal, I was often told that I don't look like a depressed person. And it was true. Throughout this whole experience, most of the time, I looked and acted normally. I smiled sometimes. It wasn't really a real smile, but I did smile. I didn't throw any temper tantrums. I didn't cry in public. I looked fine, but in reality, I was deeply troubled. Serious mental illness doesn't always present itself with some visibly abnormal behavior. And it's a shame that a lot of people and even some doctors don't understand that. So that's all I have on this topic. Subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you want. Thanks so much for watching.